I'm Linda Easthouse. For those who might be new joining us, I'm with Reclaim Your Life Natural. Reclaim Your Life. Oh my goodness, it's late. It's been a long day, but we're wonderful. We're glad to be here. Uh, Reclaim Your Life Mastery Coaching from Natural Bioenergetics. I was trying to get them both in the same word. Oh well, we're good. Um, Tonight, I want to talk about people pleasing and what that really means. I know for many women, people pleasing is a natural habit that they've just grown up with. And recovering from people pleasing is really about learning to say no. And I know that's something that as women we're raised to not do, but it's really important that you follow through what I'm going to say here today and really get a feel for why this is so important. We need to learn to say no to other people, to others' expectations, to all these things that drive us so that we can say yes to ourselves. Many of us as women do identify ourselves as people pleasers. Most of us think it's either a personality trait or a character trait, or that we were just born with it. That's just the way we are, and it's kind of part of us, but nothing could be more false. This behavior comes from the thought that other people's opinions, other people's choices are more important than our own. The behavior of pleasing others comes from the socialization that we have been through as women. We were not born people pleasers. We were socialized to be good girls, to make people happy, to not cause a disturbance. We were taught to give a hug to uncle, even if our gut said, that's not a guy I want to be near. We were told to do our job, keep the peace. Women are the family peacekeepers. Women are the family social organizers. It's our job to keep everybody happy. It's like it's a character that we were asked to play in the movie of our life. From a very young age, women are socialized to be polite, to be modest, to be quiet, not to argue back, not to fight, to play within the rules, and most importantly, to live up to the norm, regardless of what that norm may actually entail. We are socialized to believe that we are responsible, listen to this, we are responsible for other people's perceptions of us. And that other people's perceptions of us are more valuable than our own opinions of ourselves. We are effectively taught to be people pleasers. But just like anything else we have learned, we can unlearn it. People pleasing can be unlearned when we learn to say no. And a lot of you are thinking right now, but I'm not a people pleaser. I've gotten over that. I'm good. I've learned not to do that. Let me ask you this question. Are you struggling to accept your body? If you are, you're people pleasing. Women's relentless pursuit of the thin ideal and their unwillingness to accept their own body is because we have been so grounded in the socialization that we need to be good girls and we need to please people and meet society's expectations. And society's expectations is that women should be beautiful and thin, and if we're not meeting that, then there's something wrong with us and we're not doing enough to please the people who have to look at us and to please the men in our lives. You're a people pleaser if you can't accept your body and aren't happy in your own skin, if you're not comfortable in your own skin. So how does people pleasing show up in other parts of your life? Are you one of the ones who agrees with everybody to keep the peace? You pretend to agree and you go along with it even though you don't want to and you know it's not right? Here's a big one. You feel responsible for how other people feel. You feel responsible for how your husband feels. You feel responsible for how your friends feel. You feel responsible for how your kid's teacher feels. You are not responsible for anybody else's feelings. You feel really uncomfortable if someone else is disappointed in you. And people can pressure you into doing things by saying, "Oh, I'm so disappointed that you would do that to me." And the family dramas that go on because they know if they keep acting the way they have, you're a people pleaser and you'll do whatever it takes to keep the peace, to get along, to make sure everybody feels okay, to make sure everybody's comfortable. That's a people pleaser. And are you constantly apologizing? And I'm not talking about the typical Canadian, "Oh, sorry." That's not really apologizing. That's just, "Oh, I'm aware there's an interaction bump here. Let's do something about it." But always apologizing for being not good enough, not being on time, not doing enough, not pleasing people enough, not making sure that everybody else is happy, not making sure your kids are always happy. The process of unlearning this is really, really important. And I'm going to use the diet culture as one of the ways to kind of talk about this because it's so prevalent and so predominant. The process of unlearning diet culture is a way to heal from people pleasing. Just one example, but there are many things we could talk about, but this is such a common one. The diet culture in North America is so extreme that people who don't even need to be on a diet are on a diet. And no matter what you eat, it's a diet of some sort. And it's a constant pressure to be on a diet so that you can look pretty and be slim and make other people feel comfortable because, well, some people are uncomfortable around people who aren't skinny enough. That diet culture that demands you do things and to which you usually give in is people pleasing of the highest degree. So, how do we unlearn that? Well, the first thing that's required is it requires you to say no to other people's opinions of what you should do. And other people's opinions of what you should do are what kind of diet you should be on, what kind of clothing you should wear, what kind of things are appropriate to go out in public. Have you ever noticed that going to a store tells you exactly what the culture thinks of you? You need to learn to say no. I will eat what is right for my body to be healthy, to be strong, to make me feel good. I won't do it because I need to fit into a size 6 or because somebody's offended that I'm not skinny enough. It's saying no to other people's opinions. And notice they are just opinions. They don't have any proof, they don't have any fact, they don't have any authority, but they have lots of opinions and they're plenty happy to share them. And it means saying yes to what you think you should do. And doing it because you want to, not because somebody else is telling you to do it. So you say no to dieting and yes to nourishing your body with proper self-care, with eating clean, natural, appropriate foods because you want to be healthy. And healthy can be healthy at many different weights. There is no particular weight or size that determines healthy. It's saying no to what other people think you should eat or shouldn't eat. It's about trusting your own body's eating cues and learning to listen to them. Saying no to be needed to be a certain weight and saying yes to respecting your body now and working towards what you consider to be healthy and happy. As you learn to say no to other people's expectations, other people's comments, other people's pressure, other people's everything else, you can learn to listen to yourself. You can learn to say yes to yourself, to do what's right for you because it's right for you and not somebody else. You have the right to please yourself. But as women, we have been so socialized to go along, we don't even question our own desires. We don't even think about our own expectations for our body. We just do what everybody in the culture has told us to do for so many years. So the process of unlearning any of these kinds of people-pleasing behaviors, whether it's related to the diet culture or whether it's related to making everybody happy, or whether it's related to the agreeing with everybody, or whichever aspect of it you deal with. The process of it requires you to accept yourself as you are, in the state you're in, and prioritize your own opinion of yourself over other people's opinions of yourself. And that's why so many women refuse to accept their own bodies, because they aren't willing to value their own opinion of themselves, their own thoughts, their own beliefs over those of others. They've been socialized to always put others first. They've been trained since tiny that everyone else's needs were more important than theirs. And the process of motherhood ingrains that baby's needs are pretty important. And yes, you often give up your own needs and whatever to provide for the needs of the baby. But that's a phase, that's a stage, that's not your whole life. And if the baby stayed in that, they'd end up very selfish, and you'd end up a servant. For that stage, yes, of course, we willingly sacrifice those things. But it can't stay in that stage. You need to get back to valuing your own opinion, your own thoughts, and the things that you want to do for you. So, this is something we spend a lot of time on in our coaching program, by the way. In Reclaim Your Life Coaching, it's really about changing from the inside out, about dealing with the things that make you less than you. So we're going to give you just a few steps. I'm not going to go into detail here, but I'm going to give you the steps that you need to work through. Of course, obviously, we work through them in much more detail. We do the energy balancing around them. We have some exercises to go with them, but we'll put them out here for you now anyway, just so that you kind of know where the road goes and what the roadmap looks like. 1, recognize it is not your fault. You were not born a people pleaser. You were socialized into being a people pleaser. You acquired these behavioral patterns because of your socialization as a woman. 2, stop believing the lie that you cause other people's feelings. Each of us is grown-up adults, and we are responsible for the way we feel. We create our own feelings with our own thoughts. Nobody else. You can't make anybody else feel a particular way. Only they can. You can push the buttons. You can set the environment in which it'll happen. You can take away the supports that they may have that would help them, so you can bring it on. But those feelings are generated internally, just like your feelings are generated internally. You cannot cause other people's feelings. And stop believing the lie that other people can cause your feelings. Take responsibility for your own emotions. It's one of the most liberating experiences you can have. When you realize that you and you alone cause your feelings, this means that you don't have to feel bad no matter what other people think or say. You are the only one who has control of your feelings and your emotions. That means you can learn ways to deal with them. And in the program, we teach you all kinds of ways to help you manage and grow and develop those into healthy, functional, adult, responsible processes so that you can be who you want to be. You don't have to feel bad about what other people say or think or tell you to say or think. One of the key phrases that you'll hear from me over and over and over is, what other people think of you is none of your business. What other people think of you is none of your business. What you think of you is what matters. Lastly, take responsibility for the thoughts you think. Get control of your thoughts. Take dominion over your brain. Start thinking thoughts that will cause you to feel the way you want to feel. Now, I realize there's a lot of subconscious stuff going on under there that changes your thoughts. Well, we've got ways to deal with those too. But today we're talking about people pleasing, so we won't get into all of that. But you have to take responsibility for your thoughts. And instead of going, oh, but I have to make them happy, your thought should be, they need to make themselves happy. It's not my responsibility. I'll do what I can to help. I'll make myself happy. I'll assist those who want assistance, but I'm not responsible to make anybody else happy. Aside from the fact you can't do it, only they can make themselves happy. Happiness comes from the inside. Doesn't matter what anybody else tells you. So, if you want to stop the people-pleasing journey, if you want to get on to the I love myself, I take care of myself, I do what's right for me, and I serve in whatever way is appropriate for me to do from that position. Recognize it's not your fault. You were not born a people pleaser. You were trained to be a people pleaser. You can untrain yourself. Stop believing that you cause other people's feelings. No matter what they tell you, you did not make them feel anyway. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your boss or your husband or your child. Nobody made them feel anyway. They chose to feel that way themselves. Stop believing that other people can make you feel a particular way. Just because somebody says something to you doesn't mean you have to feel that way. Just because somebody calls you a nasty name or looks at you sideways or says awful things doesn't mean you have to accept it or buy into it. Nobody can make you feel any way you don't choose to feel. And it really is a choice. And as you get rid of all those subconscious drivers and all those misaligned beliefs and all those things that are down under there that we work through layer after layer after layer and get rid of them all through the energy balancing, through some mindset work, through some exercises, all kinds of things, only you can make you feel however you feel. And take responsibility of your thoughts. You do have control of your brain. I know lots of you think your brain just runs all on its own. It doesn't. You actually have control over it. There's ways to learn that too. So I hope you'll join us for some other tips and things on getting the most out of your life. We're here every week at this time of night on a live. We will be doing a webinar over the next couple of weeks that you can sign up for, a masterclass on the 10 keys to transformation. And the third week in February, February 22nd through 25th, we'll be doing a live masterclass on Say No to Make Room for Yes. We hope you'll join us for all of those things. Keep those dates open, and we'll talk to you next week.